Okay class, this is practice paper 4 in preparation for your assessments. Now hopefully you're getting really good at key skills and hitting up all those banker marks to get your 6. Key point, you must write all stages in your working. So this is a 3 marker, you want 3 marks and 3 lines of working. Now this is a nice banker question. The team has played 55 games. That's the ratio, so we add those ratios together. 6, 3 and 2. We add that together. That's 11. So we do 55 divided by 11 to get 1 part, which equals 5. That's worth 1 part. Work how many more games a team won than a team lost. So that's lost, draw, win. We times everything by 5, so that's 30, 15 and 10. Double check that adds together to equal 55, the total number of games, that's correct. And in the last part we have to do 30 minus 10 because that's what the question's asking, that's 20. Question 2, write 720 as a product of prime factors, and it's on the calculator paper. So let's do our calculator hack. Just to make sure we get our full 3 marks, because people do make silly mistakes in this. You do 720, press equals in your calculator, then you see the shift and fact button. Oh, that's the answer. I'm going to write that down here. 2 to the power of 4 times 3 squared. Oh, times 3 squared times 5. But let's just do our tree to get some method marks. Split it any way you want. That's prime. And people make mistakes in this because they normally just make some calculation errors. I'm going to go 9 and 10. Remember, 9 is not prime. That's a common mistake. People stop on at 9. It's 3 and 3. And then we get our last one, the 2 and 5. That all checks out. We're going to get our 3 out of 3 marks there. Solving inequality, just like solving equations, let's just keep that. We're going to minus y from both sides to get 8. 3y minus 13. Going to plus 13, so we get 3y less than or equal to 21. And y is 7, so that's the inequality. That's all you need to do. Right, this is another banker. We should all be very good at this now. We know this table has to equal 1, so we just add those 3 together. You can use your calculator, but do write your working out down. That's 0.79. 1 minus 0.79 equals 0.21. Work out the probability that the flavour of the ice lolly that Julius takes is either strawberry or mint. So strawberry and mint is 0.32. Add 0.21. So that's going to be 0.53 here. Right. So that should be like 11 marks right now already, I believe. Right, this calculator question, 18% each year, so the easiest way to do this is 100% because it's compound interest minus 18%. That's going to give you 82%. As a decimal, divide by 100, 0.82. So 150000 times 0.82 to the power of 3, correct to the nearest euro. 100% do this on your calculator. 82705. Calculate this length, AB. Show you're working clearly, give your answers correct to 3 significant figures. So we've got right angle triangles, automatically think Pythag or trig. Right, we've got a side and an angle. So we can use trig to find this side here. Let's just call that question mark 1. So let's just draw that triangle out. We've got 32. 3.1. So that's the hypotenuse. We want the opposite, so we know we can use this. SOH. So if you cover this, you should know, understand the triangle well. Opposite equals sine the angle, sine 32 times H, 3.1. If you just want an easier way to do it, keep bit in the triangle, that's sine 32, that's 3.1, so you multiply the two to get the opposite. Sine 32 1.643 I'm going to use. So let's just draw another triangle to help us so we don't make a mistake. This should be a banker, that's 42. This is 1.643. We need this question mark. That's the hypotenuse, that's the adjacent, and that's the opposite, but we don't need the opposite, cross it out so we don't get confused. We've got A and H, so that's K. So A's, if I just use a triangle to help me remember the working out, we've got 1.643 here, that's cos 42, and we're finding H, so H equals 1.643 divided by cos 42. Use your calculator. 1.643 divided by cos 42. 2.21, and that is the three significant figures. That's 2.21 meters. So let's just write that where they want us to write it. That's worth 5 marks, so yeah, do your working out. So I want to see at least 4 lines of working on this type of question, because that's your answer mark, and have your 4 lines of method, because if you make a silly mistake here, you're going to lose a lot of marks. Seven. This sounds like a reverse percentage question. Increases all the price on this restaurant menu by 8% after the increase, so it is reverse. The price of the lasagna is £9.45. Work out the price of the lasagna before the increase. So this should make sense. 100% plus 8% is 108%. And we've got the new price equals £9.45. You can use whole numbers for this, but remember to put the decimal point back. So what we do is, there's 2 ways. You can say 108% equals 945. Divide by 108. Divide by 108. To get 1%, then times by 100. If you're happy with that method. Or what I do know is 108 is 1.08 as a decimal, so we know 1.08 times the mystery number x is going to equal £9.45. So we divide by 1.08, divide by 1.08, and that will also give us the answer. £8.75, and as you can see, if I do the other method, divided by 108 to get 0.0875, if I times that by 100, you get the same answer, whatever you prefer. Question 8. Do pause this video to read the question before I go through it, try it and then play it back, see if you've got it correct. Right, this is understanding the mean. Easy marks here. Okay, so understanding the mean. We need to work out the mean weight of the 7 people left in the lift after 3 people have left. So first thing is we want to get the total weight. I'm going to say TW for total weight equals of the 10 people is going to be 10 times 79.2, right? So that equals 792 kilograms. Let's get a method mark there. That will definitely get you a method mark. 3 people have a mean weight of 68, so their total weight must be 3 times 68. That should be 204 kilograms. So the 7 people left, total weight will be that. That's got to be 588. Let's do that properly. Yeah, 588 kg. But we want their mean weight, so the last calculation is 588 divided by 7. That's 80. Ooh, that's 84 kilos. That's quite high, but that makes sense because the people who left the lift are lighter than the mean, so the 7 people left over are going to be heavier. Question 9. These are really easy, you remember the formulas. Right, there's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to use my preferred method. Each interior angle of a polygon is 162. So remember, 180 times n minus 2 equals the sum of interior angles. And then you've got 360 over n is equals the exterior angle. Now I know interior plus exterior equals 180, so the exterior angle is going to equal 180 minus 162, so that's 18. So I can use this to work out n, the number of sides of the polygon, so 360 over n equals 18, so we just need to do 360 divided by n, not divided by n, divided by 18 to get that answer. And that is 20, and you could do that mentally, so this could be on a non-calc as well. So that's a 20-sided shape. That's a really easy 3 marks. Find the smallest whole number at 720 that can be multiplied by to give a square number. Didn't we have an LCM question? Factor question. Alright, so There's two ways to do this. Right, so that is 2 times 3 squared times 5. So it's very similar. It is exactly the same as the prime factor tree question. So look at this number, that equals 720. So how can we make that a squared number? Well, can you see that's 3 squared, that's squared, the 2 is squared and squared again to get 2 to the power 4. So to make this squared, we just need to times that by 5, because that would become 2 to the 4 times 3 squared times 5 squared. So 5 times 720 is 3,600, which will make sense because 36 square root of 36 is 6. So 3,600 square rooted is going to be 60. So you could do it this way for any type of question, or just think what's the next square number that you can multiply this by to work it out. So you should know your squared number. So that's quite an easy one, Mark, if you think about it. Right, change 22 meters per second. So you've got 22 meters per second, right? That's 22 meters per second. You want it kilometers per hour. Okay, let's just break this up. So seconds into hours is going to be 60 to turn it into minutes times 60 as well. So that's 3,600. And then meters to kilometers, well, we times that by 1,000. Right. So this here would become 3,600 divided by 1,000, and that's 3.6. So essentially that's just going to be 22 times 3.6, which is going to give us 79.2. Now let's think of another way to show you how to do this. No, I think that's just fine. That would make sense as well. Do show your method to get some method marks. Right, circle theorems. I know we're not too strong at this yet, so I'm going to give you the theorems, and there's more than one way to do this. And then you can work back, but do practice this because you can see circle theorems comes up. One circle theorem question will come up all the time that I've seen, over 90% chance of appearing. I'm pretty confident of that fact. Question 12, so it's question 12, so that's probably a grade 7 type question. Let's give it a go. Okay, so first step is we can say angle ABD here is 41 because the angle at the centre is double the angle at the circumference. So if you double 41, that equals a 98. That's going to get you 1 method mark. There's other ways you can do that, and you could work out this angle. 180 minus 98 is 82. Now with circle theorems, as long as you get the right answer and give reasons, you'll get full marks. I've not written circumference here because I've run out of space. Now this angle DOC equals 82. Angles on a straight line. Equals 180. So my tip for these questions is even if you don't know how to get the final answer, try to work out a few angles and you might hit some method marks, because that is actually worth a method mark on its own. Now from this angle, now we're trying to work out angle DBC. DBC. So let's just draw that. DBC is going to be this one here. Right. We need to work out that one. And the final step is angle DBC equals 41, because this is the angle at the centre, and it is twice the angle at the circumference. Right, so do revise some circle theorem so you can get some method marks at least. But if you do not have time, then hopefully you can ace everything else. Question 30. Okay, so we've got a cylinder, some dimensions, and it's empty. And it's 1.5 litres of water into the cylinder. So, first step is to know that the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times height. That's the volume. So let's work that out for 1 mark. Volume equals 8.2 squared times pi times 10. 8.2 squared times pi times 10. Only want it to 1 decimal place. So that was 2112.4069. 0.4069. Now that's centimetres cubed. I've just used all the digits because it's not that many. Pan pours 1.5 litres of water into the cylinder. Work out the depth of the cylinder. So this is your problem solving part. How high is 1.5 litres going to be? Now, it's not accurately drawn, but that doesn't matter. So 1 litre is 1,000 millilitres, which should be 1,000 centimetres cubed. Okay? So what you're going to get is you're going to get, let's go, so we've got the volume now, so the volume is 2112.4069. Now it's going to equal pi r squared h. Now we've got a volume of 1.5 litres, which is 1,500 millilitres, which is going to be 1,500 centimetres cubed. So we're going to use this to find the height. So we're going to do 1,500 equals pi times 8.2 squared h. So we just need to divide by 8.2 squared pi on both sides. That should work to give us this new height. and to one decimal place that equals 7.1. And that will be centimetres. And that's the easiest way to do it, I think. So did we really need to find the volume of the whole shape to do this? Not really. Find the highest common factor of A and B. Easiest way to do this is the Venn diagram. That's A and B. So what's shared in A and B? Two lots of 3s. That's the 2 3s in A. So there's a 3 and a 3 left. There's 3 5s, 1, 2, 3, 1 extra in A. There's 1 7 shared and 11 in B. So the highest common factor is in the middle, what intersects, because they are factors in both. So you'll just work that out. $7,875. Now you could also just see what factors are in both. So you've got a 5 cubed in both, times a 3 squared times a 7. And that will count as method, and that equals the same thing. But why you do the Venn diagram is because you want to find the LCM, and the LCM is everything multiplied together. So we're going to get that 7875. That's everything multiplied times 5 times the 3 squared from here times 11 times 5 times 3 squared times 11. That's 3898125. Ooh, inverse proportion. But they're giving you a table. But there's nothing, don't get thrown off from this. Just think, what's the inverse proportion? So it's inversely proportional to the square of x. So y equals, inverse means the x squared is going to be at the bottom. If it was direct, that'd be y equals kx squared. But this is the inverse, and that's the constant of proportion, and then you can just substitute some figures in, right? Which one? It could be any. I'm just going to do the first one, so 16 equals k over 1.5 squared. So that's 16 equals k over 2.25. Multiply out by 2.25 to find k. I could work that out mentally, but let's just make sure we get this correct. 36, so that 36 equals k. And this is quite straightforward, isn't this? Y equals 36 over x squared. Perfect, easy 3 marks. Given that x is greater than 0, find the value of x when y equals 144. So, just use the equation. 144 equals 36 over x squared. We're going to multiply both sides by x squared. So we're going to get 144 x squared equals 36. Divide out by the 144. So x squared equals 36 divided by 144. That's a quarter. Now I know some of you will make a calculation error, so let's just square root a quarter, which is 0.25. That's going to be half. So x is going to be plus or minus a half, and it's greater than 0, so x is going to be a half, or 0.5. Another 2 marks done. Inverse proportion. Proportion should be marks in your pocket straight away. Right, this is ratio with some problem solving, and there's multiple ways to do this. This is the way through trial and error. As Tom is now 15 years old and Clem is now x years old, find the value of x. So 3 years ago, the ratio of Tom's age to Clem's age was 2 to 7. So that means 15 minus 3 for 3 years ago would be the same as Clemmy's age would be x minus 3. Right? And that ratio is equal to 2 over 7. So I'm just going to say that equals 2 to the 7. So what that means is 15 minus 3 over x minus 3 is going to equal 2 over 7. So we're going to get 12 over x minus 3 equals 2 over 7. Let's work that out. Cross multiply. That's 84 equals 2x minus 3. X minus 6 plus the 6. So you can get 90 equals 2x. So we know x equals 45 here. Now that's 45 from and that's it. Now if you think x equals 45, let's just see that, make sure that makes sense. If x equals 45, you're going to get 42 here and 12, and if you divide that by 6, you are going to get 2 to 7, so that's correct. So yeah, x is going to be the same, so x equals 45. Right, bounds, we're very good at bounds. This will be our full marks. Right, 3 significant figures, right, so be careful. That means that rounds to here. So we're going to work out A upper bound and A lower bound, and work out B upper bound and B lower bound. So 1 decimal place. So that's B is going to be plus or minus 0.05. So B upper bound is going to be 6.35 and 6.25. That should make sense. Get your method mark there. So A is going to be plus or minus 0.005. to get that to round to three significant figures. So we're going to get upper bound 3.465 and 3.455. So x upper bound, we're going to have 6 times. If we want this to be upper bound, we need the numerator as large as possible. So it'll be 6 times 3.465 divided by, we want this as small as possible. So that's going to be the b lower bound. Which is 6.25 minus a upper bound. So just going to write out what I've done. So it'll be 6 times a upper bound divided by b lower bound minus a upper bound, because this will make this number as small as possible and this will make the top as big as possible, and that should make sense. Let's do that on the calculator now. Let's use this button so we don't get any BIDMAS errors. Do always check if your answer makes sense. Correct to three significant figures, so that's 7.46. That's your 3 marks done. Is it worth 3? Yeah. So this is another banker. Bounds on a grade 7 question at least. It's 7 to 8 really, because of the question. Right, you have surface area, similar shapes. So surface area equals 240. This surface area equals 540, and they've given us the volume here, 2025. We want the volume of A. First find the area, surface area scale factor. So that's going to be 540 divided by 240. (9/4). So if this was non-calc, you could leave it as 9/4. Now, length scale factor, we want to find a length scale factor, so we have to square root that. So square root of 9 over the square root of 4 is 3/2. So the volume scale factor is going to be 3 cubed, because it's be the whole thing cubed, over 2 cubed. So I'm doing it like this just so that you, just in case you get a question like this on the calculator test. That's 27/8. So to get the volume of A, we're going to divide by 27/8, but it's on the calculator paper, so divided by 27/8, and you can do that without a calculator by doing keep, change, flip. They will give you easier numbers than that. Yep, 600. Lots of marks in your pocket there, guys. Question 19. You've got a chord, area of sector is this. Work out the perimeter of the shaded segment. Oh, lots of thinking skills here. Right, well, first thing is area of sector is going to be 80/360 times pi r squared, and we know that equals 25/2 pi. So we're going to use this to find the radius, because we're going to need the radius, right? So we can cancel out pi straight away. Pi's on both sides. So we get 80 over 360 r squared equals 12.5. We're going to divide out by 80 over 360. So we're going to get left with r squared divided by 80 over 360, 56.25. So we can get r squared equals 56.25. We're going to square root that to find r. R is 7.5. So this is 7.5. Now, we want the perimeter of the shaded segment, right? So we need this and this. So let's get this arc here first. So that's going to be related to the circumference of the circle, which is 2 pi r, but it's 80 degrees of the circle, so 80 divided by 360 times 2 pi r is going to give us this bit here, APB. So 80 divided by 360 times 2 times shift pi times 7.5. Let's just leave it in terms of pi right now. 10 over 3 pi. Or should I just write the number? That should be alright. 3 significant figures, so let's just use 10.472. Now, we need to find this part, but look, if we split that, we know it's our isosceles triangle, we're going to get a triangle like this. That's got to be 40, that's 7.5. This is the hypotenuse, this is the opposite, and that's the adjacent. We don't need the adjacent, so use our SOH. So that gives us opposite equals sine 40 times 7.5, and that's going to give us this length here, so we'll double the answer at the end. That's 4.82. So what we're going to get is 4.82, another 4.82, and 10.472. At that, we're going to get 20.1 centimeters. Is it in centimeters? Yeah, it is in centimeters. And the answer is going to be 21.1. Which that is to 3 significant figures. That's a 6 marker. Oh, now that's careless, isn't it? Writing the wrong answer down. So you can see that's why it's important to do working out, because I could have lost an answer mark right there. So it's 20.1. Right, so this is a pyramid. And I want to draw the net of this so that you understand how to find the surface area. So that's a square base. We're going to get 4 equal isosceles triangles here. That's going to start us off. So that's 10, so we're going to get 100 here. We know the total surface area is 360. So we do 360 minus 100 equals 260. Now we do 260 divided by 4. That's going to equal 65. So each one of these has a area of 65. Now that's 65, this length is 10, that length is 5, so 65 is going to equal 5 times the height of that triangle, so h equals 13. Now I know it's a triangle's base times height divided by 2, but can you see we've got 2 triangles here, so we're actually working out. We don't need to divide by 2 here. So h equals 13. That's going to earn us some method marks. So that's going to be 13. So we want the angle AC between the base BCDE. So we're trying to find this angle here. So we want that's 10. We want the length OC, right? What have we got here? Well, no, we know that's 5 up to here. So let's get this height here. So let's just draw this triangle here. We've got 13, 5, that's the right angle. So finding the shorter side, so we're doing 13 squared minus 5 squared equals, that's going to be length OA. AO squared. Oh no, that's 169 minus 25 equals AO squared. That's going to give us 144 AO squared, so the length AO equals 12. AO equals 12. That's 12 here, so we've got this triangle here. 13, 5 and 12. Now be careful here, just because that length is 13, that's the right angle there. AC is going to be a different length to A part question mark here. So AC, let's draw that down so you can see that. You've got C, you've got 13. So that's that point here. We know that's 5 because it's half of that. So AC is going to be 13 squared, because we're finding the longer side, plus 5 squared. And we're just going to jump a step. It's going to be the square root of all that. So AC is going to be equal to 13.93. So the 2 decimal places should be enough because we're rounding to 3 significant figures. And we want ACO. So let's draw this. A's at the top. Ooh. C's here, O's here. We have 13.93. We have OC, which is 2. Do we have OC? No, I haven't worked at OC, but you could do that. But we've got AO, which is 12. We want this angle here. So can we see we've got the hypotenuse and the opposite. So we have sine X, O is 12 here, that's 13.93, so our sine X equals 12 over 13.93, so inverse sine that. And I do apologise, my writing for this paper is a bit sloppy, my neatness, but I'm trying to make the video shorter in length because it's hard for you students to pay attention for long periods of time. 59.48. But it's a 3 significant figures, so the answer is 59.5. Now you can see, do lots of working out because there's loads of method marks to be gained here. Question 21. Similar triangles. We should be excellent at this. Okay, so I did this question earlier and automatically found this area. But you don't need to do this because it's saying find the area of DEF. So all this is a red herring, it's not needed. What you do need to know is if that's 100 centimeters and 100 centimeters, that area is going to be 10,000 centimeters squared. So 1 meter is 10,000 centimeters squared. Okay, now this is 525 centimeters squared. So we need to divide that by 10,000. And this will catch quite a lot of students out, I believe, this question. But that is the answer. Right. If that's 1 meter, 1 meter. That's 1 meter squared, but in centimeters it will be this. So that's why we'll get this answer here. Just think of it as if you're converting meters to centimeters, you times it by 100, but as its area, it'll be times 100 squared. So in here, we're dividing by 100 squared because we're going from centimeter squared to meter squared, not meter squared to centimeter squared.